Wild Moms Podcast. I'm Christine here with Lisa and Lori, and we are going to discuss fall candles because it's coming that time of year. And I don't know if any of you have noticed yet, but when you go to the grocery store, we have the scented pine cones and the cinnamon brush things that usually send me into a choking fit. So before we get into full swing, we just want to talk about maybe some natural alternatives to that, and the reasons why you might want to switch things up in your home, and about the safety of some of the products that are out there. So I have a big problem with fragrance, any kind of fragrance. It was one of my main um, triggers for anaphylaxis, where my throat will just swell shut if I smell fragrance. So I had to go to cold turkey with this also, because it was a shock to me when I did find out that that's what it was. So I kind of just had to figure things out on my own. But now there's a lot more information out there. And there's also more information about as far as what these ingredients can do to yourself and your health and the different systems in your body. And there is a really good movie out there called Stink. It's an old movie. I watched it back in 2012, so it was probably only a couple of years old by then, if that. But it was made by someone local to us, and actually my friend helped him produce it. But it was a man who lost his wife to breast cancer. And she, I think, worked in a salon maybe or something. She might have been a hairdresser. She was exposed to a lot of chemicals. So now here he is raising his two daughters. And I guess it was Christmas time. He was Christmas shopping and he had ordered them some pajamas. And when he opened up the package and smelled them, he was like, what is this? Like, why do they smell like this? And I'm assuming that was the chemical sizing that they put on clothing. But it caused him to like start to look into all of the different smells and toxic ingredients and fragrances that are in our products and, on our clothes and things like that. So I highly recommend watching it. It was on Netflix for a while. I think you could still like rent it online and watch it. It is totally worth watching. And it's STINK with an exclamation point, and I believe it's all capital letters, and it's by John Whalen. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I have to say today. I mean, there's more, but I'm gonna bring it over to like Lisa or Lori and let them,
Yeah,
discuss what they
I
want.
think it's on Amazon Prime right now. I don't know.
Oh,
I think I Googled it the other day because we were prepping for this. And John is actually I grew up with him. He's
wow.
My dad and his dad were our best friends. So I was Googling to just so we can bring it up on this thing, and it looked like they, Google, they'll say something, it might not really be, but they had Amazon Prime next to it. So it looks like
awesome.
it's available there. And I wanted to watch it again because I was like, oh, it's been so long. But it's fantastic. And what Christine left out, but was telling me before we got on was, the amazing thing about Stink was John went to our congressman, right? He's in Congress and he's like, why is this allowed? Like, why are these ingredients allowed?
Just chasing them down the hallways and like outside.
Chasing them
You
down
can rent it. You're right. It is on Amazon Prime and you can rent it for $2.99.
Yeah. Worth it.
I mean, I think that's affordable.
Yeah. So watch that. That's if anything you get from this video, watch Stink on Amazon Prime.
Yes, because it really gets the point home on how this is affecting us. And
he talks about how carcinogenic these perfumes and these fragrances are. And it's not just perfume you spray. We're talking about, we're going to get into candles and this fall scent that come in. There's a lot of fragrances in the candles. And again, you can think outside candles. You can think large, like she said, the pine cones and body lotions and body washes and all this stuff. But the fragrances that they use, and Lori's going to knows a little bit more because Lori has a clinical background in aromatherapy and essential oils. So this is her expertise. But the fragrances, that's a very broad term. It doesn't really tell you anything because they're allowed to it's an umbrella term, they call it.
It's a loophole.
It's a loophole. So they don't have to tell you what it is. right? Right, Lori?
Yeah.
They don't have to
Yeah,
tell you what
synthetic.
their pumpkin
Yeah.
fragrance is.
When it's synthetic, you don't know. And you're right. That was because for growing up, me, that was the toughest thing was scents, smells, things put on me topically that I would break out. But, was told in high school I was allergic to fluorescent lighting. That's why I was getting migraines. And perfumes and colognes that instantly, like, you get that. And Christine, you've been there too. And the migraines set in, and you really have to figure out, like, why do I get so sick from that? So my whole training in clinical aromatherapy was because of my allergic reactions to the scents. I started learning about, the nerve deadening agents so that you'll continually smell these great, ocean breeze and, the pumpkin scents. And it's all synthetic fragrances, and they don't have to, it's not governed by any government agency. So they could put anything in there. And why do you think? Because if you use a perfume, after a while, you don't smell it. So you put it on, it could be really strong, but you don't realize how strong it is that you're putting it on. But you keep wearing that same perfume, and somebody else who finds it so offensive. But when you start using more all natural things, like even just putting a little pot of water and throwing the oranges, the cinnamon, the clove in there, and just letting that go into the air. If you start using things like that, then you're going to realize when you go into a home that has all the fake candles, you're going to start getting that. You're going to realize, like, ooh, I don't like that smell. You're going to start being able to tell, oh, these are real oranges and this is real cinnamon. And it's so easy to use because people want to mask the odor with a scent, but then you have to think, what are you spraying that's killing the smell in the bathroom?
Right.
So I don't use everything is with essential oils that are pure, that aren't adulterated. And if you're using it with water or diffusing it pure without adding anything to it, you're getting the therapeutic, the clinical properties of the oil. So once you heat it, you lose that. But these candles where they're just adding, they could say, like, yeah, this is lavender scented, or they use the fragrance or perfume, then it's not pure essential oils. And even, orange, you take the orange skin and just, bend it, and you see the oil that comes out of the skin. So that you can easily just, diffusing, boiling any type of, like, lemons, oranges, and there's all therapeutic properties when you do that too. So it's being careful of what you're breathing in. Those wax tarts that they put on top of the candles that melt. When you're putting those chemicals into the air, you have to think, I'm breathing that into my lungs. So I don't really, I use the water in the diffuser with the oils, and I diffuse. Now at this time of year, we all think cinnamon, clove, a lot of, like, the trees, the pine, and depending on whether a person's allergic to your seasonal allergies, but you could get the smells without going to, a store and buying the candles with, plus the wax and the wick. We were talking about that. You don't know with wick, you don't know with the candles, like what they sell in the dollar store. I know because I've been dealing with oils. I could just open the lid and it's like, that is not what they're saying, just by the smell of it. But, if you're suffering with either the respiratory issues or the headaches, or that, look at what the scents are that you're using in your home. A lot of the things they put on those pine cones when you buy them in the food stores and that are all toxic synthetic fragrance that they're putting on them. So it's really learning what they're using.
And you could just do it at home with the pine cones and add the cinnamon essential oils.
Absolutely.
Yep. You could probably go outside and pick them, and
it's all free,
like
right?
a quarter of the price. But one thing that I do, because you mentioned it, and I just want to elaborate, I keep a bag in my freezer, and I put all my orange peels, my leftover, like, apple, like, skins, and, like, lemons and whatever, like kind of like you do to make, like, a stock with all your vegetable scraps. I do it with that and keep it in there, and then so I could use simmer pots. I
Great.
hate throwing it out.
Like
Yeah,
a potpourri, a homemade potpourri. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
that
just
makes
put it in
sense.
water and put cinnamon, I'll put vanilla,
So the
just one.
synthetic fragrance I was doing, so I got this background in like reading ingredients in food, right? So, and I have courses on learning how to find toxic things in your home. So the synthetic, um, the fragrance oils that they use are synthetic, right? But, and I was trying to say this word, proprietary blends. So the company will have their proprietary blend, which let's say it's pumpkin this year. They don't have to disclose what that is, which blows my mind. It's just like, okay, it smells like pumpkin, but it's not actual pumpkin, people. It's some kind of synthetic chemicals that they put together. And the part that I don't like is it can have phthalates in them. And phthalates are compounds that can be hormone disruptors. So that pumpkin smells delicious. You light that gets into the air, and now your estrogen can be disrupted, right? So it can be a source of hormone disruptors. And I'm going to go a little further and saying if you're struggling with breast cancer or hormone type of driven cancer, I would think about your fragrances and your candles. And this is what Stink talks about because she had the breast cancer. So a lot of these fragrances have these hormone disruptors in them and could be a source of your health problems. So not good on the fragrances. The next part, which you guys were talking about, is the wax, right? So usually they use paraffin wax, and that has with volatile compounds. I can't talk today. Toluene and benzene, and they're really harmful for the body as well. So you have the fragrance, it's in, I guess, in the wax, right? You're burning the fragrance and the wax, and you're giving off hormone disruptors and things like toluene and benzene. So that's gross, right?
They do make soy because I've made my own candles and I'll use soy wax, or also beeswax. I just had found out that it actually cleans your air. Like if you burn a beeswax candle, it actually cleans the air in your home. Um, so the wicks, I usually get the hemp wicks, but I made the mistake of ordering the hemp wicks and not looking at the country of origin. And when I got them in, I like took them out and I was like rolling the wick in my finger to try to straighten it out. And all of a sudden it hit me. I was having an anaphylactic reaction and I was like, holy crap. Like my heart starts pounding and it's like that impending doom feeling. And I was like, what the hell? And then I saw they were made in China.
Uh,
So I took all my emergency medicine, laid down, whatever, but then I returned them and I had to go back online to find hemp wicks that were made in the USA. So don't make that mistake. If you're
And
gonna
I'll tell you too,
go.
even, with the oils, they can put on the bottle that this is 100% pure lavender oil with it only being 3% of the oil in the bottle. So for clinically, lavender, and when you start looking at therapeutic properties of certain oils, they don't exist if you're adulterating them with 97% of something else. When they put, alcohol, a lot of times they thin it with alcohol. So it's so important to know your supplier and where it's coming from, like everything, like you say,
yeah,
because you could buy from companies that are you think are pure, but people say to me, I can go on Amazon and I could get that same bottle. Yeah, it's probably not the true oil. They put a new cap on it that has the seal you think you're buying. So never trust. You have to know your supplier, like with everything. But I know too, even with clothing, like you're saying with the smell with the movie Stink, there's so much that's treated with formaldehyde. The pastor of the church I go to, he's allergic to that in the clothing. Like your reactions, and you think it's all about it's what do they call it? For not preservation, to protect the
preservative.
preservative. That was the word I was
Oh,
looking
all
for.
these big words today. We go.
Yeah, I'm not working either. That they add to it, and then you're getting those chemicals. And that I was the same way, the metals on your clothing and breaking out, and earrings, chains. You don't realize, like we think, oh yeah, this is 100%. They could say,
Yeah.
pure 100%, and it's 3%. So what are you, even if you drip it on a candle and you're breathing that in. So you don't know. what
And
the,
there's formaldehyde in the candles too. I think it's in the scent, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken. So if
in
you're
a lot
think
of
about
things.
it, you're burning it, right? Say it's in your living room, right? And so now you're going to pollute your air, and you've got your kids there, you're there, your pets are there.
Pets, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
you're harming your pet too. Your pet is taking all this stuff in.
Let me just say, I had to go dog sit for someone and I had to go to their home and do it. And when I walked in the home, I was like, oh, Lord. I mean, I haven't smelled something like that, I don't think in my entire life, but I immediately get into like a cold sweat from it because it was so strong. And I was like, holy shit. So, I'm sorry. So I like went in the garage door and I went out the back door and I was like, come on, like calling him from outside because I can't be inside there.
You're hanging outside, dog.
Yeah. So he comes out, he's got a smoker's cough. And I am not even exaggerating.
The
This
dog.
poor dog, I didn't want to leave him there when I had to go. I was like, listen, like, I'll spring you to my house.
You're like giving your homeopathic pellets to the dog.
Oh,
I've never heard a dog like it was like raspy, like chronic cough. And it was my friend's sister, and I was like,
That's sad.
can we talk? I'm like, what's up with the cough? And she's like, oh yeah, it's been like that for a while. I was like, well, let me tell you why. Because that is terrible. That is like they don't have a choice. That's like abuse, I feel like,
Mhm.
because
That's interesting you said that because I always thought, and it makes me cautious, and I did research this, and there was no like clear answer. The wick itself, whether it's a clean wick, right, it's still going to give off soot because it's burning.
oh
So,
yeah,
it's like a secondhand smoke. So
this was
that
way
always
too
gets me nervous. Like, all right, I know you don't want to wick with lead in it, of course, but I don't know. I don't have the answer to this. Is the paper, the cotton wicks, when you burn it, you're still right. There's still a black soot that comes off a candle.
that's why you want to get this
I don't know how safe candles are in general. Even if you do beeswax or soy wax or coconut wax or whatever, because those are the healthier, non-toxic waxes to supposedly use.
battery, use your battery.
Yeah, I know. I love candles. I don't want to be that person that like, and
Yeah,
I have done the battery operated. I have done the unscented. That seems to be like and now I'm going to do the beeswax, I think, because if it cleans my air, as long as I look up what kind of wick they use, you just have to really find the right company, I think. They might be a little bit more expensive, but just don't burn them all the time. Burn them only
Yeah.
on some occasions or something.
You can make your own too. If you just melt, you just order some, clean coconut wax, beeswax from a company, or if you go to a farmer's market, they might have the bee wax, because then it's like pure. Melt it down, pour it in a little mason jar, and then Lori, I guess you could add the essential oils, right? When it's liquid,
yeah.
you wouldn't have the therapeutic effect, but if you want it to smell like vanilla,
Oh, definitely get the scent. Yes, yeah.
get it
And
clean.
not to put too much. Less is always more. So
Yeah, you could make your
I have
own.
I have a video that I made on my TikTok account that I could share on the what do you call it about how I made the candles. But I got like the cutest juice glasses at the Restore place,
Yeah.
8 for $2. I'm mad that I used them like that because now I wish I saved them for orange juice or something because they were adorable. They were like antique green, whatever. But it's easy enough, really. You just have to take the hardest part was breaking up the block of paraffin. I was like, I had a hammer, but now they sell paraffin beads. So you don't even have to do that. Like that part's even easier. So it is so easy. You just have
But
to
you don't
be.
want to use paraffin. You want to use beeswax.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
meant the was it bees?
The beeswax.
It's on the video. I
Yeah.
think it's
I know you weren't using paraffin, so
but no. But when you do the beeswax, I did have to add some coconut oil just to like make it a blend because it doesn't hold the scent as much of the essential oil. So that's why you have to kind of like make a mixture so that at least it has a little bit more of a smell if you want it to.
I worry about lighting the candle, leaving the house, forgetting about it. I've seen too much of the fires, the glass explodes and with hazards like that. So I'm like, no, I told my grandson, no, can't, they have to be battery, no. He knows I have racks and racks of essential oil bottles. So help yourself but because you were, they don't think, especially like a teenager, they love having the candles lit, but then they leave and forget about it. So like I always worry about that with having the open flame,
Yeah, God forbid. But could you recommend some good diffusers? Like maybe we could put that up on our social media. As far
Yeah,
as
that's what I do. And then, by the way, you can, I definitely want to hear about the essential oils. I want to hear about a good diffuser and essential oil. But this is a great, because she's about to go into it. It's a great holiday gift. I did this one year, and maybe
Mm.
one of my family members are listening, going, "No, it wasn't a good gift." I thought it was. So I got everybody really good diffusers and like high grade essential oils. And so like I was like, yeah, because everyone's giving you a candle for Christmas, and I'm like, I don't use these, and I don't want to re-gift it because I don't want to give somebody a
Yes.
candle. So I just kind of like throw those out, and no offense, but and then I gave everybody diffusers with essential oils, and that's how I scent my house. And you can also clean the air that way, right, Lori? Because if you're going to use, let's say, thieves, or you're going to use something that's more antimicrobial, or if you're having a lung thing and you want to use, gotta be careful with dogs with peppermint and right eucalyptus.
Menthols, your menthols,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you could also, it also can be therapeutic, but that's the little argument we have in my house, because I have a diffuser in my main living room, and then the kids have smaller ones in their room. They tend to just use them to make the room smell better, or if they don't feel well, then we'll use it therapeutically. But then I come home and someone has a Yankee candle lit, and I'm like, where did this come from? And my kids are like, but
Yeah.
pumpkin seeds. I walked home in the other day, and it smelled good, but my house had pumpkin going, and I was like, who bought this? My son's like, it's me. Why? I was like, do you not know me? I was like, where did I go wrong here?
Yeah.
You're stressed for me. I was like, oh, okay, this is opposite stress. So I'm sorry, but Lori, tell us about the diffusers,
No,
which oils, because I think this is a good solution.
well, the diffusers, the thing with diffusers, because I've even seen them like in the dollar store, right? The issue is when they're plastic, depending on what type of plastic they are inside.
Oh, here
When
we
you're
go.
using pure, unadulterated essential oil, it will actually break down the plastic, which is why you cannot put essential oils in your water if you're going to drink unless it's metal or glass, because a plastic cup, even the straw, you'll see it will eventually eat through the plastic, and then the plastic leaches in. So it depends on what the diffuser is made of and what you're using. What's great is when you use the diffuser where you actually put the bottle of essential oil on it, and it just releases droplets of the essential oil into the air. So there's nowhere it's laying in plastic with the water. When you put water in a diffuser and you put the oils on, it's just going to float on top. And then it's going to dissipate into the air and put the little droplets of the oil. But it's so important to know what the inside of that diffuser is, because, and if it's really cheap, it's going to start to break down. You're going to see where it stains the outside. Do I have a recommended diffuser? I'd have to do my research on that, because, I use the aromatic Swiss, what's it called? International Swiss Aromatics, because they're pure. I also use Young Living oils, but I don't do the business of that. So some of their diffusers. So, I'll have to look at where they have ones you can even put in your car. They have ones where it's like you could put the little, on just a little piece of gauze, and you put it like in your USB, but you're heating. So when you're heating it, you're ruining the properties. If you take, like, they have those little, like the discs they make, like the felt and I just put the oil droplets on that and put it in my car. It's just the smell of it. In the linen closet, you can take, just like, as long as they're 100% cotton or whatever you're using, and put the oil on it, put it in there, and it gives a great smell to your closets or your underwear drawer, whatever you want to, but knowing the diffuser is because when you're putting the oil into it, if it's a cheap diffuser, that plastic is going to leach into it's going to eat away at it. So it's knowing that. So I'll find out, I'll find some good ones, and we could put it in the discussion.
Yeah. That was a really good point. She just talked about two other things, the plugins in the house, right? They're nasty. So you got to think further. And then that plug-in in the car, again, I get in my son's car. I'm like, what's this thing? And it's a circle thing, like on the, my poor kids are going to be like, I'm never listening to your Mahas. You just keep ripping me apart. But there's like But see, I want to educate them. So guess what? You need to listen to mom.
And even those, you know, the pine
Put that
tree
thing in the
things.
car, you know, it's to make the
Yeah.
car smell good, and it goes on your air conditioning vent or the vent. And I'm like, this is synthetic, you know? And then
I can't drive in cars like that. I can't get in the car and be in there.
no.
Yeah, you
But
No,
they
me either.
sell them where you could put the essential oil there, is my point.
yes.
Yeah, or like
And
the
they-
wood brisk that you put the oil on it and then you hang it.
Yeah,
Yes.
they have those. You're right.
As long as
There's a
your
good oil.
wood is and then the wood is natural wood, not something treated or from, you know, another country that we might question, you know, how is that made? But even when I travel, and I'll just take, if I have my, you know, a tissue or whatever you have to put it, and I put the oil and I tuck it into the air conditioning vents. And I know when I would go on the conventions, everybody'd be like, we're going to hang out in Lori's room because it always smells so good. But it's like, when you walk in there, what you smell right away is the cleaning stuff that they used, you know? So I'm like, now I'm going to kill the germs, kill the smells, and you're diffusing it with the scents from the oil. So there's ways to definitely, even buying, you know, unscented everything, as long as you know the company and what's in that. And then you can add your favorite scents to it just by adding the oils. So,
Yeah, I want to know some combinations that are good for fall that I could try.
okay. In your, like, just
Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to do the diffuser or if I'm going to try to do this cotton thing you're talking about.
so orange oil, essential oil, they've done so many studies where orange, they even did studies in dental offices to see with children, and they diffused orange and it was calming, relaxing. It's very a calming oil. So putting in like orange, I printed some of these: ginger, cinnamon, clove, um, tangerine, you know, any of your orange oils, cardamom. And then you could throw in like nutmeg, uh, black spruce, pine, if you want. Like I do that at Christmas time. I have on my tree, like the glass, it has the little ceramic dish. You drip the oils on it, or you buy it with the natural sticks that absorb it. And I hang that on the tree because my tree's fake, but it's pine center or balsam fir. Really smells good. And you'd think that I have a real tree in the house, but I'm not putting in the plugins. And this is the real distilled oil from that tree. So it's a
So
nice
are all,
smell.
yeah, I wish I could, but I'm allergic to pine. And that's what stinks is
Ah,
because
okay.
I used to have a sinus infection every Christmas and I would be like, what is the problem? And then I finally figured it out and we had to get a fake tree and it's so sad, but I have no way around
Yeah.
it. I like feeling better at Christmas than being sick. But like the orange and the ginger and the cinnamon, the clove, all that, that's okay for dogs. It's just the mentholy mint stuff that's not.
And it's because usually, like, I'll put 1 or 2 drops of the mint in my diffuser. It doesn't bother my dog. But it's when people, they're overdoing, they don't know. It's just like when people wear perfume and it's like, you know, you're trying to kill us all. It's the same thing with oils, because they are so volatile. It's always less is more. So, you know, if you put 1 drop and then you feel like, oh, I really can't smell it, you know, you add. But that's what you, especially with cats. I think cats are more sensitive than the dogs to the smells. But you know, if I'm diffusing when I had cats, they just stayed out of the living room or wherever, you know, and never, but I don't put 10 drops of each in the diffuser. So yeah.
I would like bergamot. That was one of my favorites.
Bergamot's a really good oil too. I wear that as perfume sometimes. It's nice
Yeah.
oil. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I was sticking to lavender for all these years because I was afraid to mess up my dogs.
Oh,
Yeah.
And as a clinical aromatherapist, I am so sick of lavender, right? Right, Lisa? And Lisa's like, yeah, I don't like it. I
it's
said,
back right here, but I don't like it. That's fake, by the way.
well, you get burnt out on one, scent.
yeah.
I was just trying not
I
to
don't
kill
like
them. So.
lavender. It's in my
Yeah.
products, but I use it the least in there, just so you people know. Like, I might take it out of the product the next time because every time I have to go make my product, I'm like, I can't take the smell. And I use good stuff.
Yeah. And you have to think about the thicker viscosity oils like patchouli, myrrh, where they're thick, that it takes a long time for them to come out of the bottle. Well, those are the ones that then they're more calming. But when you drip them into a diffuser, that thick resin that's going to stick. And it's so, you know, you have to think about what you're putting in there, how you're doing the blend. Sometimes it's always like in a bath, it's always using a carrier because people will just drip the oil on the tub while oil floats. And then they get into the tub and that oil is just sticking full strength to their skin. So it's about disbursement so that you're not putting full strength. So, but you can, I always say, just even like you said, boiling it in a pot where you get the smell. But with the oils, it's knowing that it's pure and it's not adulterated. That's the most important.
I have a question. If you just went to buy an oil, let's say at CVS or, you know, on randomly on Amazon,
They're
what,
adulterated.
yeah, but tell people what that is. So I know what adulterated means, but like what would be in it? Like,
So what they do is it's
what is
like,
it really?
right, if you say, okay, we're going to distill lavender, right? So you have an ounce of lavender. So now if you add you add other things to it to thin it, and now you go, well, I could get 100 bottles out of that 1 ounce of lavender. So these companies, they adulterate it. So adding, whether it's alcohol, they don't even put it on there what they are adulterating it with. You
Right.
don't
Like,
know
right.
because it's not governed by, what is it, the FDA. So it's like you don't, all they have to have is 3% in there. So you have no idea what, and so that's why they say you never take it out and just dump it on your, you know, your skin, things that, you know, are good for hemorrhoids and that, well, you would never if it's adulterated and you don't know where it's coming from. So it's always knowing the supplier where the oil comes from. That's the most important, especially when you're using it clinically. That's
Yeah, and you have to be careful because I've seen this on products like in like let's say Target, CVS, stuff like that. And I've seen it even when women claim they're making their own stuff. I've literally go immediately to the ingredients and you have to, even that can be play on words for you. So that's why some of this stuff's hard. That's why we're here today. But I've seen people like, you know, they're making body butter. So you think, oh, it's from, you know, shea butter, it's from mango butter, it's super healthy. But then they use these fragrances or these oils that are
yes.
garbage and they wanted to give it a really good scent. So I hate to say this, but if it smells super, super good, it's probably fake, you know? Because when you use essential oils, it smells beautiful, but it's not going to be like that, you know, cherry smell, you know? Because my son's like, how do you get pumpkin smell? And I'm like, I'm not sure. They don't, you know, I know that plant
Yeah.
therapy. I don't know if you like them. They're certified organic. I
Yeah,
don't know.
pumpkin smell is more like your, you know, your cinnamon, your clove,
Yeah.
maybe a little orange. Like you put in things that, you know, it'll smell like give you that smell
Yeah.
of a
But
homemade
food science
pumpkin
has
pie.
those chemicals that actually taste and smell like
Oh,
the thing. I
yeah.
don't know how they do it, but it's a biochemistry. Like there's biochemists who do this for a living. But my thing is like I've used plant therapy where they have some like holiday scents and they'll mix a few of them up. You could even look at that, Christine, where I haven't researched it heavy that I don't know if they use alcohol or anything like that, but I know they're certified organic, so I figured they keeping that stuff as pure as possible. Um, but they have like a holiday smell and they'll have like kind of a blend like you're talking about instead of having to blend it all yourself.
Yeah, this did remind me. I did use pumpkin pie spice in my Cerepods too. It's been a while because it's not that time of
You
year,
use
but
pumpkin spice?
yeah, pumpkin pie spice.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah. Like an allspice. Yep. Yep.
So that's maybe that'll help him out. Get his
Yeah.
pumpkin fix.
Yeah.
I do a pumpkin oil, but I guess
Yeah.
they don't because they do have a smell. Like I think it's a pretty distinct smell.
Yeah, like you make it pumpkin oil out of pumpkin, like there's oil in there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they,
Look that up.
maybe it comes from the seed. I wonder.
There's oils in the seeds, and I'm sure there's like there might be oil in the skin. I don't know. Like you said, that there's oils in the lemon and the orange peels.
Yeah, that's true.
Pumpkin.
Have to look into it.
I think, you know, when it says, if it says, like you say, perfume or fragrance,
Yes, parfum.
then that's like made in a lab. It's not all natural. You know, it's like when you go out and you pick basil or you pick lemongrass or you pick, and the smell, you know, mint. And
Oh,
it's like, but that's what it's supposed to smell like. You know,
good.
yeah, the mint. And that's the same thing. You know, you grow the mint and use the mint and you could even put, you know, like the herbs into the candle, right? Because I've seen
Oh
that
yeah.
done where, yeah, fresh mint and yeah. So,
I just picked a ton of basil and dehydrated it. And so then we just smush it up into, to cook with for a spice. It tastes, I know people know this, but like, it just tastes so much different than the one you'd go buy in the store. It's so good. Like, yeah, so you probably could put that in your candle if you wanted a basil candle or a mint candle.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Rosemary candle.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah. And I'm going to try what you said, because I didn't do that. I love the idea of keeping the, I always throw out the peels. I don't have a compost, right? So
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
that's a good idea to keep that.
And freeze it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oranges, lemon peels, the apples, and freeze it.
Repurpose everything you can. I know. I wish that I had a composter. It's on my list of things to do.
I know. Me too.
The problem is the dogs. That's the problem too with the garden. We have to because our yard is so big and wide open, we have to literally fence off a part to put a garden, because forget it, So it's coming. It's on my list.
And this really, making an important point to that too, this time of year, it's so difficult when there's visiting and you're going to other people's homes. And when people have, like I was saying, I would go around and unplug things and blow out candles. You just, in a soft and gentle way say, I'm allergic to that stuff. So can we not burn because you're subject to that no matter where you go. Like you said, you walk into a store and you start smelling the scents. I can't go in like a Bed Bath and Beyond or like the Bath and Body Works, because it's like those smells just instantly. Ugh. And it's because of your body, when you're only using pure stuff, your body then right away it triggers because it realizes it's synthetic, that it's man-made. So
a lot of people don't understand it. I've lost friends over it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I can't change the stuff.
Your health is more important.
Oh yeah. Or like the people whose houses you do go blow the candles, then they think you're crazy. But we're just the canaries in the coal mine. Yeah.
Well,
here we are,
because
all these years later.
clean up your house. Clean up your house, but also be mindful what you spray on yourself, because I'm telling you, when you come to the chiropractor's office or the massage office, please don't have anything on you, because then it's on us, and it's like, it's not fun. It's not fun smelling you and you're making us sick.
Oh, I know. Yes, cologne.
And I talk about when you sit in church and the lady has so much perfume on her. I get up. I'm like, I can't be here. Like, I'm going to throw up. So it's like, be mindful of what's on you for your sake, but also for other people's sake too.
Yeah.
Why I can't fly on a plane, because what am I going to do? Oh, we have to land the aircraft. She's having an anaphylactic reaction.
It's an anaphylactic shock because of Susie's perfume.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so thankful that I found homeopathy and it works great, but I don't want to be on a plane and find out that it only works, I don't know, but I don't want to find out. So I guess I'll take a train, and I don't know what the answer is. I haven't figured it out yet.
Jump off the train at least.
Yeah, I mean, at least I can, you can't move your what do you call it, plane seat as easily, I don't think.
All right, our time's up.
Yep.
So thank you everyone for coming or listening.
Thanks for coming.
Listening to our podcast.
Leave comments if they need any information. Leave comments, if you have questions.
Follow us on Instagram and here on YouTube. Any questions? Lori's going to do a little research on the diffusers. Maybe, give us a little, but if you ask a question below, she can help you and guide you. And Christine and I are here to help too. Right? Okay. So your homework is to actually get rid of your candles and start trying diffusing.
Yeah.
Happy fall.
Yes.
Or make your own.
No, I'm not ready. My summer just started. School's over. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm ready to go to the beach now.
Kids are not coming up.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that.
Okay.
Guys, have a good day.
All
Bye,
right.
everyone.
Take care. Bye.